Philadelphia's latest move is a big one, and while some fans might think keeping Jordan Davis is too expensive, Vic Fangio reportedly has new plans for the Birds' nose tackle. Plus, some surprising UDFA moves that are helping fill Philly's biggest holes, and Jihaad Campbell's first day revealed the rookie's biggest challenge ahead. Thomas Mott, this is the Thomas Mott Show. While the Eagles rookies began to arrive in Philadelphia the past couple of days and start their preparation for minicamp on Monday, filling out that minicamp roster has been an ongoing process, as the Birds front office continued their search on Wednesday by bringing in even more bodies to try and compete for a spot in training camp. But while all of that was going on, Philadelphia made yet another move this morning, officially exercising defensive tackle Jordan Davis's fifth-year option, keeping him in the city of brotherly love through 2026. And speaking of Jordan Davis, he signed the helmet that I'm giving away. I announced the winner a couple of days ago. That was Lindsay FF9384. I have not heard from Lindsay. Lindsay, shoot me an email. Details down below in the description box. Here's the deal. If Lindsay does not message me by Friday, I'm going to go down in the comments of this video and my last video. One person who drops a like, leaves a comment, gets re-entered in. Josh Davis and I are going to do our next live show on Friday afternoon. I'll announce the new winner then if I don't hear from Lindsay. Now, this fifth-year option for JD is a big deal in a few ways. First, there was a debate if the Eagles would even exercise it or simply let the former first-rounder out of UGA walk next offseason. But the fact Philadelphia's free agent additions and draft picks did not include a big nose tackle, that was indicator enough this deal was coming. However, making it official a couple of days after the draft now solidifies Davis's presence at the center of Fangio's defense for at least the next 2 years. And I think the price is probably the best part, as Jordan Davis will make just $3 million in base salary this season and then only $12.9 million in 2026. When you compare that to, say, Milton Williams, now $26 million a year, or even kind of a more run-stuffing like defensive tackle in Vita Vea at $17.7, $12.9 for JD, it sounds like a steal. And what's perhaps most important about this move is the role he plays in Vic Fangio's defense. Jordan Davis is 100% crucial. Fangio clearly wants to rush just 3 or 4 and play coverage, especially shell coverage, on 99% of defensive snaps. Having someone with Davis's run-stopping abilities in the middle allows him basically to do that. And of course, while taking on double teams and clogging the middle doesn't garner a lot of praise or stats at times, it's absolutely critical to keep the Birds' linebackers, mainly Zack Baun, clear from blockers to go ahead and make those tackles. Still, with his contract now running through 2026, it does sound like, according to Zack Baun, the Eagles are going to require a lot more of JD this year. As Baun tweeted today, quote, "The Eagles remain bullish on Davis. They're going to need to play more than 37% of the defensive snaps, but what would have kept the Eagles up at night is declining the option and Davis turning into a player worth $20 million a year in the market next spring." And this makes a ton of sense, right? They're going to give Jordan Davis more money, $12.9 million in 2026, but that comes with more snaps. 37% of the snaps in the Eagle defense is good, but if they can get that up to 40, maybe even 50% of the snaps, he'll be well worth the money and on his way to a contract extension, maybe next offseason, but more likely in 2026. But that's mainly due to the fact that he doesn't get a lot of sacks and was a high first-round selection. If Jordan Davis would have been a second-round pick, we'd all be calling him a stud in 2025. Make no mistake, he did have a solid year last year, but his potential to be really, really good in 2025 is what I'm most looking forward to. Also, huge thanks to Bear for sponsoring today's video. If you're looking to upgrade your sleep, well, trust me, you're going to want to hear this. Now, of course, when we talk about sleep, we all know, get your 8 hours a night. It's super important. We hear that all the time. Have you ever wondered how much your mattress actually plays a factor in you getting a good night's sleep? Bear is a premium fiberglass-free mattress designed to improve your sleep quality and overall life. Plus, it's conveniently shipped right to your door, and wait for it, for free. Personally, my favorite part about Bear Mattress is their sleep quiz. They know everybody has completely different sleep preferences. Some want to sleep hot, sleep cold, soft mattress, firm mattress. I took this sleep quiz myself, and based on the results, Bear matched me with their Elite Hybrid mattress model, which is perfect for my sleep style. My wife and I have now had our king-size Bear mattress for a couple of days now, and let me just say, I am sleeping better than ever. I hop into bed, and I love how comfortable I feel as I fall asleep. Plus, big factor for me, it keeps me cool throughout the night thanks to their Bear sleep recovery technology. And obviously, don't just take my word for it. Bear recently did a survey of over 300 customers, and 82% found a noticeable improvement in their sleep quality after switching to Bear. And in fact, of those 300, 95% of them said they would for sure recommend Bear to a friend. And I said it before, but Bear delivers your mattress right to your door with free shipping in the US, so you don't have to worry about literally anything. Plus, they offer a 120-night sleep trial, so you can test it out, try it out, sleep on it a couple of nights, and if you don't love it, you can return it. Trust me, you'll love it, but still, they'll return it, no questions asked. Plus, they'll throw in 2 free pillows like they did with my order, which are very comfortable as well. So head to bearmattress.com/Thomas Mott, use my promo code Thomas Mott to get 40% off your first Bear mattress. That's bearmattress.com/Thomas Mott, promo code Thomas Mott. Trust me, give it a try. I know you need a new mattress. Most of us do. You're going to absolutely love it as much as I did. Now, speaking of staying in Philadelphia, it looks like BYU wide receiver Darius Lassiter, who I reported on earlier this week that he got an Eagles rookie camp invite, now officially signed on with the Jacksonville Jaguars, meaning once one less player at the Novacare complex next week when practice starts. Lassiter was a receiver I was very excited to watch, but you honestly can't blame him for taking a guaranteed contract in Florida instead of a maybe in Philly. Although the Birds, they quickly filled Lassiter's spot by signing Middle Tennessee State star tight end Holden Willis, who got 99 passes for 1,500 yards and 11 touchdowns his last 2 seasons at MTSU. And Willis fills a position of need, and there are really 2 heading into rookie minicamp the Eagles have put a lot of emphasis on to go ahead and put as many bodies on the football field and hope one sticks. Safety and tight end were 2 of my biggest question marks heading into the offseason, and all Howie has done is add a bunch of new options. Starting with tight end, you remember this, Kyle Granson in free agency, and now adding Holden Willis. No guarantee either make the roster, but extra bodies that will have a chance nonetheless. The other area is obviously the safety position, and Philadelphia has done a ton with that the past couple of months. Obviously starting with drafting Drew Makuba, but now adding multiple undrafted free agent safeties as well, including Toledo's Maxon Hook and Oregon's Brandon Johnson. The latter of which was more of a nickel safety hybrid in college, but will officially try out with the safeties in Philly. He transferred over from Duke and only spent 1 year in Eugene, but registered the 3rd most tackles on the entire team and finished his college career with 3 interceptions. I mean, this has been the move for months now, starting with as early as Mekhi Becton. He leaves for big money, so you trade for a guard and then draft a bunch of late round options. Likewise, CJ Gardner-Johnson, he had to go, we know that, so you draft his replacement and then sign a bunch more cheap UDFAs. Even losses like, say, Josh Sweat, where you already had young options ready to fill a spot, but you still draft potential replacements in the Vanilla Gorilla, Ty Robinson, and added sack specialist Antoine Powell-Ryland. There's no guarantee any of these guys make the roster, but Howie is playing a numbers game, so you throw 10 new guys out there, if 2 of them hit, then you still have 2 successful players. And this continued with some other rookie minicamp invites the past couple of days, one of which I find fascinating in Rugby star, you heard me right, Carsen Patu, who, like Jordan Mailata, has never played a down of football, but has a 6'1", 243-pound frame with a ton of rugby power. He's going to try out next week as a linebacker / outside edge rusher, uber long shot to make the entire, even training camp roster, but a fun player to watch nonetheless. Next, Philadelphia invited North Carolina edge rusher Kaimon Rucker to the rookie minicamp, and I think he honestly should have been drafted, so let's chalk him up as a steal. Rucker had 22 sacks during his time at UNC, but a cheap shot against North Carolina State this past season caused an ankle injury that derailed his final season in Chapel Hill. This dude, when he's actually healthy, can absolutely fly and bend like crazy. If he gets the shot I think he's going to get, I'm going to see him probably invited back for training camp. Now going over to the actual additions who are guaranteed to make the roster, and the Eagles' first-round draft pick Jihaad Campbell's career is officially underway as he got the tour of the Novacare complex and met with all of the coaches, staff, and other players over the past couple of days, which included a pretty fun story from the Eagles' VP of Player Personnel, Alan Wolking, telling Jihaad Campbell he called this draft pick many months ago.
Want to come out here?
Yeah, a bunch of people.
It's a little bit.
What's up, big dog? How you doing? I'm good.
Alan, you know what? I came to see you at practice. You saw my Eagles logo, and you came over and you were like, "Take me home." And I'm like, "That's not how this works, man. You're gonna have to wait." It was in October. Yeah, I'm serious, man. It's good to see you here.
Like the other rookies, Campbell's first big test will come next Monday when Philadelphia officially begins rookie minicamp, and all reports are still suggesting that he will start out as an off-ball linebacker and not an edge rusher, despite quite the debate on Twitter right after he was drafted. Now, this doesn't mean they won't move Campbell around. He will get to rush the passer at some point, but as Fran Duffy said yesterday, quote, "My understanding from conversations I've had the last few days is they're going to be using him as an off-ball linebacker first and then see what will happen from there. So start at linebacker and then move around if possible." And this is 100% the right move. Like, you gotta remember, Campbell was an inside linebacker at Alabama, and the Eagles have an obvious need next to Zack Baun because Nakobe Dean is not gonna participate likely in any parts of training camp. So the Alabama rookie will get a shot right away, and as Brian Baldinger said on WIP yesterday, he has all the talent in the world, but a lot to learn.
Well, I mean, it starts with, first step quickness. He's got that. You can't win the 100-meter dash if you don't have a great first start and a great first step. He's got a good first step. I don't think he's a polished pass rusher. I mean, he kind of dipped and ripped and ghosted people. That's not going to happen. He's going to have to develop pass rush if you're going to use him in that role. We've seen Nolan Smith develop, so he's not as fast as Nolan Smith, but he certainly has size to his advantage. He's a pump kid, he's gained a lot of weight here over the last 2 years, to really play the linebacker spot. So, but, from just a linebacker standpoint, better than anybody. I mean, just what's going on behind you in this passing game of the NFL? Who's the crossers? Who's the bootleg? Who's coming?
Yeah.
Who's, what's going on behind you without looking? How you read route combinations as you drop in coverage? Because most guys, they don't get good depth in their drops in the passing game to take things away and to affect the passing game. So those are things that you don't really I mean, I've seen him do it at Alabama. I'm not saying he can't. He's got an interception off a good drop, but last year. But I think that the passing game is always something. And then how you match up with running backs and the guys that you have to match up with, and then the tight ends that you have to cover when you're in man coverage.
Oh, and speaking of WIP, they've had quite the week. They did a whole segment just the other day on whether or not it was a, quote, prove-it year for Jalen Hurts. I guess they might have forgot that he won the Super Bowl and the Super Bowl MVP a couple of months ago, but that was technically a couple of months ago, so come on, who cares, right? Oh my gosh, they really think Jalen Hurts is on the hot seat? Then, not to be outdone, they did a whole segment yesterday again on how the Eagles offseason was a huge disappointment now that the signings are over.
I guess I would, if I'm being honest on Tell the Truth Tuesday, I'm just disappointed in the Eagles offseason because they got worse.
You just can't make this stuff up. So Jalen Hurts has a prove-it year, even though he just won Super Bowl MVP, which is ridiculous, but whatever. Then, just because you didn't trade for Micah Parsons and trade for, all these other edge rushers and TJ Watt and Myles Garrett, the Eagles had a bad offseason. I just think it's ridiculous. Moving on from radio hot takes, and you might have seen George Kittle's new extension with the Niners yesterday, and if you didn't, it's a big one at 4 years and $40 million guaranteed and over $19.1 million a year, which is a ton of money, and Kittle's pretty good, but he's 32 years old. Now, tying this into Philadelphia, will it actually affect Dallas Goedert's extension? I don't think it really changes the Eagles' mind. Goedert currently is slated to make $14.2 million in 2025, but obviously the problem is he has zero guaranteed money left on his deal. My guess is Philadelphia wants an extension, but at a team-friendly price for the often injured 30-year-old tight end. To me, it does not really help Goedert's agent at all in any sort of leverage, but we got to keep an eye on this because there's no indications of a holdout. He should be at OTAs, but those are coming up pretty soon. We got to go ahead and wait and see. We got plenty more stuff happening the next couple of days and weeks, including Lindsay. If you don't let me know, by Friday, I'm going to redraw by someone in the comment section on this video or my last video. Josh Davis and I are not going live for our Wednesday link. Josh has some family stuff, scheduling conflicts. We'll go live on Friday, probably afternoon. That's when I'll redraw if I don't hear from Lindsay. I'll let you guys know, keep you guys updated, so stay tuned for that. I'm Thomas Mott, hanging out on a Wednesday. This has been the Thomas Mott Show.